In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you why everyone should have a mentor. Now, years ago, I went traveling for 13 years, decided to get my retirement out of the way before I started work because I saw too many people work for 50 years of their life and then literally keel over and drop dead. And I thought, that is not going to be me. So 13 years traveling, had a massive bucket list, ticked all those off. And then when I came back to the UK with just a bag of clothes, I had to play catch up. So I had to throw myself into work. And these were the only things I knew how to sort of earn money with, laying bricks and doing building work. So I threw myself into work, worked really hard, 7 days a week. That built momentum and started to get a lot of work. Customers come back to me through referrals and recommend me to other people, just like a lot of you trades will get your work from. You know, you do a good job, it leads to another job, it leads to another job, etc. And that's great, you know, and we think it's almost like bragging rights, don't we, being busy. But we can become a busy fool, and there's only so many hours we can work in a week. So I eventually reached out to a mentor. I went to see him years ago when I pretty much came back from traveling, and I was doing okay. So I just thought, well, I don't need a mentor. I don't need to pay him because I'm doing okay. You know, I'm busy. I'm earning money. I'm back on my feet. I'm progressing pretty well. I'm just about to buy my first house. And then the recession came, and that's when everything really sort of came to a standstill. I couldn't self-certify my mortgage anymore. This was 2 days before the recession. I just took on a massive mortgage when you could literally just tick a box, um, say how much you wanted to borrow, and as long as you put the figure in the box to say that that's what you earn, they would just basically give a mortgage to anybody. This is sort of 2008, 2009, and good old days, you know. So uh, basically, it come to a standstill, and I couldn't get another mortgage after that. So I thought, oh shit, now what am I going to do? And then all of a sudden, my work stopped. I literally went down to nothing because obviously everyone's income stopped, lots of job losses, and work just dried up. And I was like, oh. So I got a massive mortgage. I just bought another few other properties myself. Those are empty because tenants couldn't afford the rents. So those became empty. I just leased a new truck. That was 575 quid a month. Bearing in mind, this is like 15 years ago nearly. So that's a mortgage on its own. And I'd like 30 quid in the bank. And I'm like, right, I'm in trouble here. And eventually a friend of mine, he gave me a little bit of work. It was a bit of a lifeline. I didn't really want to do it, but I had to do it just to get some income coming in to pay my mortgages. And one thing I noticed was the mentor I'd been to see at the time, they progressed really, really fast. Like they were still buying loads of property, they were making more money than ever. And I was like, I've missed something here because they clearly know something that I don't. So very, very valuable lesson learned. So what I did, I made a commitment that I would go back and get mentored by these people once I had some money and some time because I knew they weren't going to be cheap. So we did our house up, we sold it, decreased our mortgage, did another house up, took another couple of years, and then I said to my wife, look, I want to get back into the property, I want to get mentored by this guy, and she said, look, let's just do one more house and we'll move again and we'll clear the mortgage. So I was like, oh. So we did that. That took another 2.5 years, I think it was. So this has been like 8 years now since I very first saw this mentor. But eventually I went back and I went to see these guys speak at a free event, which I nearly never went to because it was meant me taking a day off work, which meant I was losing a day's wages. And plus I was really, really busy. But I did go. And straight away I just knew it. I knew I was in the right place. And yeah, I signed up for this mentoring. It cost me a lot of money. I'll reveal how much I paid later on in this video, but it was a lot of money. It felt like a lot of money at the time, but it was nothing compared to the money I was going to make over the years of working with these mentors. So the purpose of this video really is to explain to you and everyone watching this video is why every single person should have mentors in their life. Okay, so specifically if you want to progress in an area of your life. Okay, so we're going to go through a few of these really good tips that have helped me, and I think they can help you understand why you should have a mentor in your life. Okay, so one of the first things I had to do when I came back from my traveling was I had to play catch up. And like I said, I threw myself into my work, and that became great. So when I first sat down with my mentor, he said to me, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I want to earn more money because money gives you options. It's as simple as that. You know, pretty much every single person watching this video will want more money in their life because it will reduce some financial stress. It can pay some bills, decrease your debts, allow you to have more holidays, allow you to be in nice places like I'm in Spain at the moment, enjoying the nice weather. Well, I know it's not very good back home. And so yeah, I said I wanted to earn some more money. And he said, well, you can't. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, you've run out of hours. He said, you're working 80 to 100 hours a week. You haven't physically got any more hours left. So you need to leverage. And I was like, right, okay. So this was a valuable lesson because this was somebody telling me logically why I was struggling. And of course, when you're busy in your business, you're doing what you know to your ability, you don't really know any different. You just soldier on and you struggle and you think you're doing your best. And like I say, you're paying the bills, so you're keeping your head above water. The work keeps coming in. So as far as you're concerned, you're doing okay and you're fairly successful. But having a mentor was somebody who could look independently at me, what I was doing wrong, and tell me a different way to do stuff. Because ultimately, they know things that I don't. If they've got several million quid in their bank, and my bank that say whatever, 10 grand, 20 grand, whatever, they clearly know something more about finances and money and how to get money than what I do. Okay, so that's one of the really key lessons. They know more than what you do, and you tap into that mentor's knowledge. That's what you're paying for. Okay, so this is like your entrance fee into you succeeding in your life, right? And then you have to pay an entrance fee, whether that's time, money, sweat equity. You have to put the graft in basically, but you've got to pay your entrance fee. Otherwise, you're just going to plod on like Mr. and Mrs. Average for the rest of your life. And that's not really a motivational place where you want to be. You want to be striving for the goals, striving to be the best person you can, and succeed in life. So you can have an amazing life and do as much as you can while we're on this planet for a very, very short time. And ultimately, those mentors have been there and done it. So they've probably spent 20, 30 years doing the strategy that you want, or they've paid mentors as well, so you could leverage off their mentors. But they've got the knowledge, and the difference between you earning £1 million or not is a lack of knowledge. So what I mean by that is that's the only thing that's stopping you earning £1 million right now, is your lack of knowledge on how to earn £1 million. And once you listen to these guys who have been there and done it, the light bulb comes on, and it actually is a lot easier than what you think. It's just that they know a way of doing it. They've spent a long time figuring it out, and they've invested a lot of money into their mentors, and then they can pass that on to you, and you can fast track your way to success. And I probably achieved more in 4 or 5 years than what I did in my first 30. And I put that into context. I did more in 4 or 5 years than what I did in my first 30 years. Think of if I would have started off with a mentor at a young age. And I sort of did. I had a mentor sort of teaching me how to do bricklaying when I was at college, and because I was pretty good, they sort of spent more time with me, and I looked up to them, and so I progressed to become the third best bricklayer in the country, and that was by having this mentor in college. But you can fast track your journey, and I look at what I've earned in the last 4 or 5 years compared to the graph I had to put in for the first 30 years just to be average and pay the bills and just to drive a car and have a 1 or 2 holidays a year, to now being able to pretty much do whatever I want, whenever I want, around the world. It's crazy. And you just think that was all down to me trying to do everything on my own and a lack of knowledge. Just those two things. The reality is, if we could have done it by now on our own, we would have. That's the reality. Okay, and you need to ask yourself why you are not further advanced. Why your company isn't bigger than what it is, why you're not earning 10 times more than what you're earning, why you're working so many hours when you could be working so less hours. So if you think about it, if you knew these answers, you'd have all these things in place. But instead, we're busy, we're working 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week. We get home from work, we're still working, the laptop opens up and we're doing quotes, invoices, etc. Phone's always ringing. We'd like more holidays, but we haven't got time. I mean, look at the price of a holiday now. For a family of 4 to go on holiday to Spain for a couple of weeks, you're probably talking like 10 grand. And that's after tax money. For me, this is like a business expense being here. So again, my mentors taught me how to run my lifestyle through my business. So that pretty much everything I do goes through my business. The camera equipment I'm recording this on now, it's a business expense. The location I'm at is a business expense. I have to eat, that's a business expense. If I need to hire a car, it's a business expense. And this has all been taught to me by my mentor, which again I pass on to my students that I mentor as well. Sorry to interrupt this video, but have you ever wondered how you can become a property developer? Well, in the comments is my exact 8-step blueprint to transform gardens into development sites like this and make life-changing money. Go check it out. Let's get back to the video. So another big thing in my mentoring sessions, so I would have like one-to-one mentoring sessions in person with my mentor. Sometimes we do them by Zoom. And that mentor would offer me clarity. So maybe I would come to them with some challenges, saying, well, look, these are the 3 things I'm struggling with right now. It could be lack of time, it could be I need to earn more money, it could be difficult customers, lack of work, whatever it is. And they would offer logical advice, and often they would give you scenarios of that advice. So they would say, well, look, if you do this, this would probably be the outcome. If you do this, this could be the outcome. So you start to get in a picture of where the future is if you take certain decisions. And again, like I said, if you're just doing this on your own, you've only got yourself to make those decisions with, and you're going to take the easiest route, or the only route possibly. You might only know one way. So my mentors taught me things like, how to get payments in from customers, how to compartmentalize my diary, and this was someone here who used to work 80 to 100 hours a week. I went down to like 12, 13 hours a week within 3 weeks, and I tripled my income within sort of 1 to 2 months. As quick as that, all because my mentor taught me some fairly basic stuff to do, but I only knew a certain way to do it. So again, I got really, really quick results from some of the things. The main thing is that whatever they told me to do, I did. And the reason I know that works is because the minute they told me to do something and I didn't do it, when I would have that next session, say in a month's time, they would say, oh, how did you get on doing that? And straight away, he knew whether I had avoided doing it because I hadn't got the result, or if I did it my way, it would be a completely different result to the way that I wanted if I'd have done it his way. So I learned the hard way at the beginning by, you've got to get out your old habits. It's as simple as that. We've been doing things for a long time, the wrong way, and we've got to undo that stuff as well as learn new ways to do stuff. And some of this is going to be about getting out of your comfort zone. It's not going to be enjoyable, but I'm a big Grant Cardone fan, and he says to me that getting out of your comfort zone is a sign you're moving in the right direction. So networking was a big one, I can tell you that, and it probably is going to be for a lot of you. I'm an introvert person. I'm not really like one for going out socialising and mingling with a lot of people, even though I speak on stage and I do loads of events and stuff. That's fine. I enjoy that because I'm in my comfort zone there. But like, I'm not really like that, the party man. I like my own space and I like to do my own thing. I like to go fishing and stuff and out on my bike. And I travelled the world 13 years on my own, so I've been used to spending a lot of time on my own. But networking was a big thing, and doing that for the very first time is quite daunting for some people. You don't know anybody, you don't know what to say. You just sort of go there and stand like a spare part. But everyone's there for the same reason, So you've only got to go up to someone and say, "Hi, how you doing? I'm so and so. Nice to meet you. What business are you in?" So that was the conversation. My mentor would say, "Oh, just say this as an icebreaker, and then that will break the conversation." And when I did what he said, networking was never bad after that. I used to enjoy it. I used to always go away and meet people, swap business cards, and I've gained some really, really good friends and clients throughout the years of networking. I even sponsor a networking event now. I'm just running a charity golf networking event on Friday when I get back from Spain here. So again, it's new people that I meet, some people I know, gives us a chance to meet, talk business, find out what each other is up to, what their aspirations are, what their goals are. So I even run my own networking events now, which is great. I've got a summit day coming up. 100 people in the room, Property Developer Summit, 100 people in the room. It's a great networking opportunity for all those people. It's just 49 quid plus VAT, so it's not even an expensive event to attend. Full day of property development training. It's just me on stage speaking to all these people. And again, in the breaks, I'll be talking to people, trying to find out how I can help them best, how I can help them get started into property development. So it just shows that, these mentors have brought these things out into me that I once feared, and now I really enjoy them and embrace them, look forward to them. A mentor will also offer you support and advice. Now, when I say support, they support and challenge you. So you might have an idea, and sometimes they'll go against it and say, look, that's not a good idea because of this. You're after this result, and what you're doing is going to take you that way. You need to do this to get you to go that way. So they will support you, but they'll support and challenge you as well. And that's really important, because there's no point you paying someone just to agree with you all the time. Otherwise, you're just going to stay where you are, and you might as well just do things on your own. So you need to listen to those mentors for their advice, and what they advise you to do, and they will give you a realistic outcome of what will happen if you follow their advice. So if you do A, B, C, you can expect X, Y, Z. Okay, and that's what you want. You want to know the shortcuts and the advice to get you to where you want to be. Um, a mentor will often allow you to think a lot bigger. So, I'll give you an example here actually. I sat down with some mentors years ago, and he was saying, what sort of money do you want to earn, blah, blah, blah. And we said, £3 a month. This is on top of what I was earning. So an extra £3 a month. For me, that was like my bills. So I thought, well, if I can earn £3 a month, that means all my bills is done. And really any money I earn now is going to be like savings, bonus money, more money back into property. And he was going, oh, you need to think bigger. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I said, well, £5 a month? He said, no, no, no. He said, you need to think bigger. And I was like, wow, £5 a month is 60 grand a year on top of what I'm earning. That's going to take me like way over 100 grand a year. And he said, yeah, you need to think bigger. He said, wherever you put that number is where you will earn. It's as simple as that. If you're putting a ceiling on your capabilities and your aspirations, you'll very rarely go above that ceiling point. And he got me to the point where I could believe I could become a millionaire, and that happened. And it seems a bit crazy looking back, because you think, well, it just started with me believing it. As simple as that sounds, and if you're putting this restriction and a ceiling point on your limitations, you will stay there. So let's say you make a commitment today to become a millionaire. You don't need to worry about how you're going to do it. Obviously, property development is a great proven strategy, and that's how I became a millionaire, and how a lot of my mentees become millionaires as well. But it starts with that commitment of saying, yeah, this is what I'm going to do, and the rest will sort of fall into place. The opportunities will come in. Law of attraction, call it what you want. It will fall into place, and eventually you will become that millionaire, because your radar is on, looking for opportunities on how you can become a millionaire. You will start to think differently. Now, let's say you don't become a millionaire. You might earn 700-800 grand. That's way more than if you'd have set that limit on earning, 3 or 5 grand a month. And do you see what I mean? So having that mentor to help me think bigger. Obviously, we put a structure in place to make it happen through the work that I do, through the developments and stuff. The strategy, because I was doing like buy to lets and HMOs before. That was just going to take me forever. Well, I'm well in my 50s. I haven't got forever to become a millionaire, so I had to make it, in a fairly short space of time. And also, then they make you understand why you're doing what you're doing. Well, for me, if I was to drop down dead, tomorrow, my family are in a good place. I'm not leaving them with a load of debt. I'm leaving my sons with some amazing skills to thrive on their own rather than just survive. So it's really important to understand why you're doing what you're doing. And like I say, a mentor can bring the best of you, that out in you, so that you fully understand why you're doing it. It'll get you out of bed on the worst of days. It's a roller coaster. So when the going's bad, you will just push through it, because you've got that mentor at the end of the phone, probably just WhatsApp. Even if you're just having a bad day or something's gone horribly wrong, you can just speak to your mentor. They will just calm the situation down and say, right, okay, let's just realign. This is what we do now to fix the problem. And there's been a few times like that. I've had my business partners rip me off 5 years ago, left me with zero, and I had to start from scratch. Now, I could have easily just given up, crumbled, gone depressed, stressed, whatever, call it what you will. But I just thought, well, okay, it is what it is. I'm sitting here now with nothing. I've got no email address. I've got no company name. I've got no bank account. I've got no money. But what I have got is I've got my health, and I've got a blank canvas. And today's a new day. So it's down to me to pick myself up, start from scratch, reinvent myself, and get back to work. And luckily, I had that mentor there to support me. and we came up with a quick plan of action. And like I say, the rest is history. I've earned more money in the last 5 years than what I did in the previous 30. So that what seemed a bad point for most people when they ripped me off. For me, it was actually, I saw it as a blessing. I was like, great, I'm now in control of everything. It's just me. No one can rip me off anymore. It's down to me to pick myself up and get on with it and go for my dreams again, which was always the plan. So one of the things I've been able to do with working with my mentor is leverage their team. So I use one of their brokers. I've used their solicitors before, and you've got quite a few people in what we call a power team, and by leveraging their power team, it allowed me to fast track and move forward quicker. So if I needed someone for, say, copywriting or creating adverts, how to get ranked on YouTube, whatever, call it what you will. They've been there and done it, and they've got all these people in their team, and they will just pass on their contacts to you. So the people that work with me, like when we're doing property development, they get to leverage my team. So instead of them having to go and find a solicitor, and that solicitor is probably not quite clued up when it comes to things like option agreements or deferred payments or assisted sales, whatever. Maybe the broker, maybe they're not the best of brokers, maybe they just sell real basic products and not quite clued up when it comes to creative structuring finance and property deals. So if you use the wrong power team, you can make big mistakes and costly mistakes. If you use people who know what they're doing, then that again can fast track you. So my team becomes your team if you work with someone like me for mentoring. Now, I've had a really high success rate with a lot of people I've worked with, and that is because they use my team. Because I can pick up the phone to solicitors, I can pick up the phone to the brokers, they can CC me in emails. I know exactly how they work because we've done it multiple times, and they all have a great experience. They get looked after, they get took to the top of the pile, so no waiting. This can be a benefit of working with a mentor. You actually get to the top of the queue rather than waiting right at the back like anybody else does because you're just a customer. Now all of a sudden you're a preferred customer because of the amount of work and volume I bring through to my power team. So they will then prioritise them because again their success is my success, and we have a high success rate of getting these people through their deals, even if they've got no experience or money. Sorry for interrupting the video, but if you'd rather go to work in one of these rather than a Ford Transit, make sure you subscribe because there's loads and loads of people just like me and you learning how to do property development, and they get to drive to work in a Lamborghini rather than a Ford Transit. So make sure you subscribe. Now, believe it or not, all mentors have mentors. My mentor's got loads of mentors. I've got a few myself. I've just literally took on a new one this week, just before I came out to Spain. I've got a call with him on Tuesday, so today's Sunday. So this is going to be like a 90-minute strategy session where we're going to map out solutions to what I want to achieve. So I've got some certain things that I want to achieve in the business, and I can do them myself, but it's going to take me a long time. There's the chance I can make a few mistakes. There's the chance that I could procrastinate and get on with something else that I enjoy doing, and because this is something I've been wanting to do for a little while. So this is the reason why I've took on this mentor, because I've been putting it off, and I'm aware that I've been putting it off because we've been busy. But it's like, well, look, hold on, this is costing me a lot of money by not making the most of this opportunity. So I pay for this mentor. The mentor's going to keep me accountable. They're going to give me tasks to do on a weekly or monthly basis. And when you've got a mentor and you've paid them a lot of money, you're not going to want to not do the work. Like if you've got, say, if you go to the gym, for example, and I'm sure we've all done it. We've all got home from work and thought, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym tonight. And then, we get in, the house is nice and warm, the tea's there ready on the table. So you quickly get your tea, and then all of a sudden it's like, I should have a quick shower because I'm a bit dirty. So you're going to have a shower, clean set of clothes, and then all of a sudden your energy levels just drop. And it's like, well, I've been at work all day, I'll go tomorrow. We've all been there and done it, so you don't go. Whereas if you've got a personal trainer, especially if it was someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you're not going to not turn to the gym when your session is booked. One, you've paid for it, so those that pay will value it, and you're more likely to go to the gym, and then that person is more likely to get the best out of you in that session. Therefore, you get more results. And look at a mentor as a personal trainer. If you want to get to the top of your game, you use someone that's been there and done it, way in front of you, who can get you there quicker because they've been and done it. So yeah, all mentors have mentors. I've just paid $30,000 for this mentor, which might sound like a lot of money, but it's peanuts in relation to what I'll make and the time it will save me. So poor people, they go to work for money, which takes their time. Rich people use their money to go to work to get their time back, so you can do more things with your time. And it's a really important lesson that I learned, because like I said, I've always traded my time for money with these hands. Now I use the money to buy me time back so I can do what I want. That's why we spend 6 months a year abroad, and we still manage to run our businesses wherever we are in the world. As long as we've got a phone and a laptop and Wi-Fi, we can manage our businesses. So all mentors have mentors, and I believe you should have mentors in all areas of your life. So let's say, like I said, I'm doing a golf charity day on Friday when I get back. If you want to improve in golf, you can do one of two things. You can spend ages and ages learning how to play golf yourself and having some dreadful days and losing loads of balls in the rough, or for £40 an hour, you can go and get a golf pro who's probably been playing golf 25, 30 years, and they can show you some little tweaks, where to put your head, where to use your feet, how to grip the club, what to do in certain situations. And you can probably take 10, 20 years off your golf performance, probably in like 5 to 10 lessons. So 200 to 400 quid, and you could be playing a great game of golf every single time. You can go and get a personal trainer if you want to go and get fit and healthy and be in the gym. And, that could save you years of struggling in the gym, of being stuck, plateaued on a certain weight or something like that. They can clean it, get your nutrition sorted out, which is going to give you more energy, which is going to give you more strength, which is going to get you better results. And reality is we should have mentors in all our life. Don't ever look at a mentor as a cost. I genuinely mean that. It is never a cost, because you should always get 10 times the return on your investment into a mentor. Now, I said at the beginning of the video I was going to tell you what I invested originally when I first paid my mentor. This is 8 years after meeting them. Now, over 2 years, and I was with my mentor for like 5 years, but over the first 2 years, I reckon I put in somewhere around 100 grand. Now, that sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, but I became a multimillionaire through what my mentors taught me, through implementing what they taught me over a short period of time, over 5 years, which is a very, very short period of time. Before that, 30 years working on my own, with my own mindset, grafting away with these things, I was earning a wage. That's the difference. So, and also that 100 grand was a business expense. So you've got to think about it. If that 100 grand was sat in my bank now, corporation tax can take 25% of it. So that's 25 grand gone in tax straight away, just to the tax man. I'm left with 75. Then if you want to take that money out, it's going to be anything from 20% to 40%, maybe 50% tax. So you could lose half of it, at least half of it, just getting it out the bank from what you earn. So, and like I say, it is a return on investment. Now, I've been working with lots of mentees over the last few years. We regularly put videos on this channel, so go check those out. These are success stories from people just like you, busy working away to their abilities, working hard, trying to do the best for their families, but they're just missing something that's going to take them to that next level. And it's my role as a mentor to help them break free from trading that time for money through things like leverage, property development as a strategy, but I also help the trades in their construction businesses. I help extract them from their business. Like by coming away from somewhere like here, I'm working on my business while I'm here. Whereas if I was back home, it would be very easy for me to go onto site, pick the tools up and start working in the business at 250, £300 a day. Because while I'm there for 8 or 9 hours a day, I can't do nothing else. It's as simple as that. I'm there working on the tools and all my time's taken up. Then I have to start working weekends and evenings. While I'm here, I have a lot of clarity. I've got no distractions. I'm here on my own. I get up in the morning. I go out on my bike for a couple of hours. I come back, have a nice healthy dinner. catch up on a little bit of work, and then I have a few hours working on my business in the afternoon. The brain has got a lot of headspace to think. I get a load of ideas put down in my notes on my laptop or on my phone, and then I implement it. And normally that is a case of who can I get to do that work, not me doing the work. And this is where I get my best ideas from. You know, nice and sunny weather. Like I say, it's like 27 degrees here today for mid-September. So lovely, lovely weather here in Spain. Back home, I know it's been windy and raining. You know, how can you get inspired by being, you know, working outside when it's blowing a gale and raining and it's starting to turn cold? You just can't. So it's really important to take yourself away occasionally and work on your business, not in your business all the time. So yeah, some of my mentees, they're now on their second, third deals, and you know, for what they've spent to now what they're making, you know, returning investment is incredible because, you know, I've helped them come out of their businesses. So, like I say, one of the first things they do is put down the tools. Now they can go on the tools if they want, but their business is not based on them being on the tools. So like, I don't lay the bricks now on my sites. I've got one guy, Alfie. You'll see his video in the channel. Yeah, he's a bricklayer building two houses. He's got brickies building that one. And you know, leverage is really one of the things that you need to think about to get out of your business. Some of my guys are earning seven figures. The average deal, so the average profit that they make is around about 500 grand per deal. I've got people from who used to work at Tesco's, Glenn and Marianne. They used to work at Tesco's, now developers. We've got Tom the policeman. Mike was a policeman. I've got a call with another guy tomorrow. He's a policeman. Not sure why all the policemen seem to want to be leaving the force and getting into property development. But I've got people from all walks of life, all different ages, and like I say, sometimes they're just a few parts away from a completely different life, and it's very rewarding for me helping them get from where they are to where they want to be. And the reason I do a lot of this is because it's been so powerful for me and my family and my journey that that's what's made me want to give back and help people. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you on one of my videos soon, and you'll come to one of my courses, and maybe we'll get to work together. We'll do some mentoring together, and who knows? You know, you could be on multi-six, seven figures, having multiple holidays every year, driving the cars of your dream, building your dream house. I get a lot of people's wives out of their jobs, and then they work in the business together. So lots and lots of good things come from it. But look, I hope you found this video useful. Check out Grant Cardone, some of the stuff he does. It's pretty good. I like him because he says it how it is. I've learned a lot from him. I've been to Miami and Vegas to see him at his 10x Growth Cons. And look, some of these mentors, you know, you don't have to always pay for the mentor. Some of this can just be stuff that you learn online, like Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar. You know, they're no longer with us, but I still like listening to their stuff. It's still such a fundamental part of mindset and personal development into changing from where you are to where you want to be. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one very soon.